What I saw was fun, never anything inappropriate. What I saw was work and play at work and fun. Mrs. Cosby was a frequent visitor to the studio. She was there a lot. That's what I saw.
What on earth is actually happening with the Cosby Show crew in the throwback chaos? Because Phylicia Rashad abruptly broke her elegant stillness and let loose a torrent of rage that made the red carpets in Hollywood tremble like an earthquake. Yes, exactly. No one noticed that the Queen of Calm had just turned the page. Approaching. You know who's caught up in the firestorm? Yes, Vanessa Huxtable, the actress who always managed to look elegant and cute on TV, may have had some jagged claws hidden beneath her adorable girl's grin. Here's the actual twist, though. Hours before Malcolm-Jamal Warner's untimely and tragic death, all of this drama erupted. Hours, not days. The timing couldn't be more precise. People arrived expecting a low-key homage, but instead they found themselves in the middle of an outright emotional conflict. Secrets whirling like blades through the air, frosty glares, and silent staircases. That TV family is picture perfect. It turns out that it may have been hiding a murky reality behind the scenes. Now, everyone is staring at Phylicia, wondering what she actually knew, and why she waited until the cameras were about to cut out before launching Tempest Bledsoe into the center of the controversy. For example, why was that last-minute explosion really necessary? Let's also discuss Malcolm's parting remarks. Insiders whisper that they were really cold. The type of things that someone says when they sense a sinister trend approaching. It's not just a cast reunion with clumsy embraces. This is a complete breakdown. The culmination of years of phony smiles, suppressed stress, and possibly even betrayal. Okay, get your munchies, pull your blanket tight, and perhaps keep a stress ball handy because you never know what's going to happen next. Every Huxtable hug will make you side-eye it as if it were concealing something. And believe me, this following turn of events really upends everything. Get this then. The epitome of TV aristocracy, Phylicia Rashad, is said to have called out her on-screen daughter Tempest, causing her to bleed just hours before Malcolm-Jamal Warner's unsettling and inexplicable murder. It wasn't days or weeks until everything changed, and those last words were spoken. According to insiders, they were intense, akin to a reunion of Real Housewives, but without cameras to diffuse the tension or a public relations team to smooth things over. This was more than a sloppy backstage conversation. This was intense, personal, and real. Since this beef didn't begin last week, let's take a moment to retract it. No, this has nothing to do with who had the greatest wardrobe or more screen time. This seemed more profound, like the surface of an iceberg that has been there since the 1990s. We are discussing the last cracking of decades of pressure, shade, and artificial grins. Don't worry about red carpets. There were warning signs everywhere. Already, social media and street rumors are exploding. They claim that a significant incident between Phylicia and Tempest occurred. It wasn't just some Hollywood diva drama, either. Rumor has it that it was the spark that ignited a long-brewing storm. Beneath all that glittering sitcom glitz, we're talking about long-standing animosities, cunning power struggles, and drama that has been simmering for decades. According to insiders, Phylicia Rashad's serene, regal persona was only a front for a pressure-filled volcano, and her on-screen daughter was the direct target of all that criticism. The tension was genuine, blood or not. Sis wasn't merely stirring things up, Tempest. As if she controlled the entire block, she was out here destroying trust. For years, there have been rumors circulating behind those adorable, huggable smiles. Tales of cunning little maneuvers carried out in the shadows while no one was looking. Secret pacts and diva demands. However, no one anticipated this kind of explosion. Now, the same question is being asked by everyone. What actually transpired during the last odd hours before Malcolm-Jamal Warner was discovered unconscious in the pool of that Beverly Hills estate, due to the extremely tight and unsettling timing? And why, immediately following a behind-closed-doors intervention with Tempest and a close group of Cosby cast members, was Phylicia spotted hurriedly leaving a secret studio, appearing shaken? In that room, what was said? What boundary was crossed? Whatever transpired, there were no hugs and excuses. At the end, it ended in such a tragic way that half of Hollywood is screaming. The other side, meanwhile, is frantically trying to hide information and conceal truths that should never be revealed. Audio files that were leaked. Yes, directly from the iPhone of a studio employee. Allegedly captured everything. A woman who sounds a lot like Phylicia Rashad loses her temper. There are raised shouts and dead silences. And she yelled, "Get this." "You're not flipping this story again, Tempest," the person on the tape stated. "I'm done holding my tongue, but I did cover for you once. Give it a moment to simmer." Additionally, it is evident that this was not their first shady standoff. Phylicia, however, brought more than just words this time. She did not bring digital. Receipts. We're talking about actual folders that are heavy with paper, just like in 1993. According to one insider, those files were jam-packed with missing funds, covert treachery, manipulation, and outright career sabotage. This meeting was intended to be a healing moment, according to the same source, who says they worked closely with the cast at high-profile PR events. A peaceful sit-down to decompress. Instead, though, there was a boom. The walls trembled as it devolved into a yelling match. As usual, poor Malcolm attempted to keep it under check. He intervened to bring everything under control, but the drama was too intense. He broke, too. "We've been lying to ourselves for decades," he yelled, according to the same insider. "This isn't a household, it's a cover-up. But a cover-up of what?" That's where things go from disorganized to downright outrageous. The things that internet detectives are already discovering are incredible. False contracts, ghost-written memoirs, and a covert feud between Malcolm and Tempest that allegedly ended their friendship years ago are all mentioned. And it becomes much more bizarre. It has been reported that Phylicia has been working for years to maintain peace behind the scenes. However, executives silenced her each time she raised an issue. They were too terrified to alter the flawless portrayal of the Cosby Show's history. No one desired smoke. However, everything blew up just before Malcolm-Jamal Warner's untimely and terrible death. It gets really dodgy here. According to reports, Phylicia got an anonymous package. No return address, no note. A bundle of handwritten letters, an enigmatic USB stick, and, get ready, a dusty black and white VHS film from 1993 are all within. Such as what was on a VCR and who even owns one these days. Internet detectives claim that the complete fairy tale may have been revealed by that ancient recording. Allegedly, it displayed video from a production meeting that completely changed the game. Apparently, Tempest had been violating contracts and treading on people's careers like they were stepping stones while clandestinely planning her own spin-off. Phylicia appeared shaken, which makes sense if even half of that is accurate. She supposedly wasted no time at all after watching the footage. An urgent meeting was arranged by her. Just the original Cosby crew in one room, with no outsiders, no PR cleanup, and no press. What came next? Complete chaos. People spoke up, tension over decades shattered like fragile glass, the type of vitality that fills your chest. Then came the scene that made everyone shiver. He made eye contact with Tempest and uttered the night's coldest phrase just before Malcolm left the room. "I lost everything because of you. You simply never imagined that the truth would be revealed to you." According to reports, they were Malcolm's final words. Dead quiet followed by ice cold. Nothing except that eerie cold silence that strikes your bones. No coughing, no shuffling. After leaving the room, he vanished a few hours later. The internet isn't buying the police's claim that it was an unintentional drowning. Not even close. With this one, online investigators and TikTok detectives have gone full CSI, breaking down timelines, bringing up pixelated video, and comparing screenshots in real time, much like a Netflix doc. Malcolm, according to some, didn't leave the studio by himself. Some people think that the words that were flying about the room followed him into the darkness and stuck to him like a curse. And other people are certain that the truth is being buried deeper than a torn NDA in a Hollywood safe. In the meantime, there was not even a simple remembrance, not a single post, and no public sobs. It has been reported that she withdrew from all media appearances related to Malcolm's passing and even canceled a scheduled podcast recording a few days after the controversy erupted. What is it then? Shock? Guilt? Or simply questionable timing? That is the crucial question. Phylicia, meanwhile, is maintaining her composure in public, as she always has. For Malcolm's family, her team sent a polite, courteous statement with their prayers and condolences. However, behind closed doors, insiders claim she's losing her mind, avoiding interviews, avoiding cameras, and completely losing her mind over the spotlight. Furthermore, according to insiders, she has even engaged a private investigator to look into the truth behind everything. Because let's face it, something doesn't add up, whether it was an accident. Too many pieces of the puzzle are missing, and too many people remain silent when they need to be speaking up. The fans have also become full-time detectives. Social media is exploding. Twitter threads longer than a CVS receipt, Reddit's in the rabbit hole, and theory breakdowns on TikTok. Some people are even drawing attention to eerie parallels between this real-life event and previous Cosby Show episodes, such as twisted foreshadowing that no one anticipated. Until recently, no one had spotted the indications. Online users are searching for previous interviews and behind-the-scenes videos and enlarging them as if they were forensic proof. False smiles, stiff hugs, and shady side glances. All of those, seemingly innocuous little instances, now seem like warning signs that we all overlooked. Additionally, that old 1991 talk show tape has gone viral once more. The one in which Tempest Loki and Phylicia fought live on television over professionalism and loyalty. Although it appeared to be innocuous TV stress at the time, others are now questioning whether the warning flags were present the entire time. One thing was obvious by the time that heated studio altercation was over. That image perfectly captures the Cosby family. Completely made up. The true turmoil was hidden under a shiny facade for the cameras. And it's not just drama, it's detonation for Phylicia to finally speak up only hours before Malcolm's sudden death, after decades of silence. But why now is the most important issue that still looms over this whole catastrophe. For years, Phylicia kept her mouth shut as the truth weighed heavily on her chest. Why? What was Malcolm going to say? Because that secret is now haunting everything, and someone obviously didn't want it to be revealed. And just when you thought there was no more darkness to come, fasten your seatbelt. The entire thing shifts into pure thriller gear with this next section. Phylicia reportedly had a complete meltdown backstage the day before Malcolm's burial, according to an insider assisting with memorial preparations. According to reports, she screamed in front of employees, "I informed him about Tempest's presence. I informed him that she was mistaken." She said that while standing a few steps away from Malcolm's photo. Was it guilt, heartache, or something else entirely? In any case, that timing is quite chilly. However, it doesn't end there. A shocking revelation was made by another unnamed individual who was supposedly connected to the Warner family. Just a few weeks prior to his passing, Malcolm allegedly had plans to expose a prominent figure. "If anything happens to me, it won't be an accident," he assured them. "My adversaries are wearing silk gloves. This isn't a script, but that statement alone sounds like an entire Hollywood movie waiting to be developed. This is actual life." And in the middle of it all was soap that had bled. Rumor has it that she was gradually removing Malcolm from important choices at their joint production company. Backdoor talks, quiet movements, and genuine power play energy. However, things worsen. She even persuaded him to co-sign certain dubious license agreements, according to insiders. And you know what? His personal creative rights were inextricably linked to those agreements. This is the point at which things go from disorganized to really insane. Tempest's signature appears almost exactly next to a large blank area in a document that was purportedly released from a compromised email. Malcolm's name was meant to be in that slot, but it was blank. That is, he never signed. "I apologize, ma'am. That is extremely slick, not just dishonest." And it wasn't just Phylicia who revealed the truth. The same idea is now being whispered by several Cosby Show alumni who have kept silent for years. Tempest had a reputation in the past. She was skilled at manipulating producers, scheming behind the scenes, and changing entire plots in order to maintain her fame. Vanessa Huxtable was perceived as the cool-headed, rational voice type. However, it now appears that she was the mastermind the entire time, the type of person who would chop your scene behind your back while grinning in your face. Finally, the jaw-dropper. Tempest shared a mysterious Instagram picture just 3 months prior to Malcolm's death. She is staring directly at the camera while standing in front of a mirror. Power comes from reflection. reads the caption. Not every mask is unsightly. The caption said that. 3 months before Malcolm's death, Tempest bled so that the mirror shot was taken. People dismissed it at the time as a profound artistic event. However, at this point, it includes too much tension to be random, dramatic lighting, mysterious energy, and a full-on Marvel villain teaser. Let's return to the burial, though. What transpired there? Jaws was left dangling on church pews by whom? All of the big names were present. Raven-Symoné, Debbie Allen, and even a few younger Netflix celebrities stopped by to show their support. However, there was anarchy simmering beneath the surface of that service. A private security team arrived just as the ceremony started, which is unusual for a farewell in Hollywood. It has been reported that Tempest arrived with her personal bodyguards on either side. Why? Due to her purported worry that someone might attempt to exact revenge for Malcolm's passing. Is this a Godfather scene or a tribute, girl? Get back at him. Reporters were even informed by one attendee that Phylicia Rashad remained silent throughout the service. Her justification. She had no intention of lying to God. Oh, phew. It's not a shadow. A total solar eclipse is what that is. The voicemail suddenly appears just when you believe it can't get much darker. Like some cursed cassette tape from a horror movie purportedly sent to one of Malcolm's closest friends, a former co-star, a spooky audio clip begins to circulate online. And that's exactly what it says. Chilling. Malcolm's voice is heard saying, "I don't feel safe," in the released tape. Inform the world that I was silenced if something occurs. Although no one has validated the tape 100% yet, AI voice analysis yielded a 91% accuracy rate. My dear, that isn't a glitch. With sirens blaring, that is a huge red flag waving in 4K. Internet detectives, meanwhile, are working full-time hours and conducting their investigation as if it were an endless crime docket. Everyone is out there assembling their own version of the truth, whether it is through YouTube, tarot readers, TikTok investigators, or Reddit threads. Every theory that is put forth is more outrageous than the one before it. Some claim that Tempest and Malcolm were embroiled in a cold battle over behind-the-scenes creative control. Others assert that she used footage from The Cosby Show, which might damage people's reputations as leverage to keep them in line and silent. Then there is the most outrageous notion of all, a cover-up by the Hollywood elite. And yeah, the crowds have returned. With more sauce, it's sneaky, loud, and bold. According to a widely shared post, Malcolm was writing a candid memoir, something so unvarnished and incendiary that it would have permanently destroyed the show's impeccable reputation. And it said that some extremely influential people didn't want that book to be published. Fans are also noticing strange hints. The once tight Calebs from that era abruptly ceased tagging one another. Some even started acting as though they had never shared a screen and unfollowed everyone. Silent distancing or coincidence? This is where things start to seem strange. Because this isn't simply about loyalty or following the money, treachery, it's about big money. Malcolm had recently renegotiated a huge syndication deal for The Cosby Show right before he went away. We're talking about something worth millions of dollars. However, the entire situation disappeared a few days following his passing. There was stillness, no public update, and no news release. Now for the twist that has everyone in stitches. In Malcolm's last months, guess who was said to have had power of attorney over certain aspects of his business? Ding ding. You're aware already. Bledsoe's temper. In order to expedite decisions while Malcolm was recuperating from minor surgery, she was covertly appointed as a limited co-executive on a few contracts according to leaked legal documents. But fast-tracked what? That is the crucial question, because everyone is whispering now. Additionally, the silence surrounding this matter is louder than ever. People are beginning to wonder if this was more than simply a tragedy now that Malcolm is no longer with us. Was it a component of something much larger? One significant red flag has insiders scratching their heads. How did Malcolm's emergency contact list suddenly include Tempest? Wait. Despite having grown children, a long-term partner, and siblings, the man's TV sister managed to gain complete VIP access to his private medical information. It's more than just odd. Checkers isn't that game. Baby, that's chess. Oh, they've clocked in for full-blown conspiracy board energy on the internet. Supporters are urging authorities to renew the investigation into Malcolm's unexplained death. Additionally, don't assume that the superiors aren't feeling the heat. Something significant was disclosed by one unnamed source inside the county. There has been some quiet discussion regarding the official timeline's gaps. The twist is about to happen. That refuge by Big Bear Lake was not even intended for Malcolm. A plot twist is on the way. In fact, he had reserved a Santa Barbara wellness weekend. What then caused him to be more than 100 meters off course? And why was Tempest the last person to text him that evening, based on phone records? Let's now discuss the autopsy, or lack thereof. The entire process was completed in less than 48 hours, hurriedly sealed and tightly locked. No toxicology data or complete findings were made public. Then, fans began searching through the timeline, screenshots, contracts, and everything else online, asking too many questions. What came next? Tempest recently removed all of her tweets. Lost. Disappeared as if it had never been there. And that gesture sent a guilty vibe around the internet. To be honest, some people continue to defend her, claiming that this is all simply irrational rumors spread by conspiracy-minded TikTokers and disinterested writers. Others, however, have had enough of being courteous. A scorched earth Facebook post from a retired TV writer is currently going viral. If you stay in Hollywood long enough, you will discover one thing. Backstage, people attack you after grinning for the camera. In all honesty, that quote may be the most accurate statement in this convoluted tale. This is where things go wrong, though. An anonymous Substack just received a shocking revelation from a ghostwriter who says he assisted Malcolm in writing his last memoir. The manuscript was almost finished, he said. Those last chapters are pure dynamite. We're talking about litigation, betrayals, broken friendships, loyalty, and the kind of tea that can irrevocably ruin careers. Get this now. The author claimed that towards the end, Malcolm became quite paranoid, as in extremely paranoid. According to reports, he insisted that all meetings take place in person. No laptops, phones, or other gadgets of any kind. I'm actually being watched energetically, however, it doesn't end there. That same ghostwriter's home office was inexplicably destroyed, a few days following Malcolm's passing. Not robbed either, ruined, paper all over the place, files strewn, drawers wrenched open. The creepiest thing, though, comes next. There was no theft. Not even his laptop, though. It appeared that someone had broken in to find something specific, rather than valuables. They had no desire for money. They were searching for secrets. Recently, Phylicia, Miss Grace herself, has been seen in public appearing noticeably frightened. A woman who appears to be carrying too much truth and not enough protection. No red carpet calm, no polished smile. Do you believe foul play was involved? Was the big question that the paparazzi asked Phylicia. Her response was, ice cold. What I needed to say has been said. I hope he finds peace. Closure is not what that is. That's drama encoded in a soothing voice. And the fans heard all the words that were not spoken. But hold on. Don't get ahead of yourself over what a person close to the funeral director supposedly revealed. Tempest is pushed hard to get Malcolm cremated right away. No waits, no second. Viewing, just straight to ash. But it didn't sit well with his family. They intervened and put a 24-hour hold on the cremation. The same question is now being asked by everyone. What's the rush? Before it ever saw daylight, what was she attempting to erase? Whispers are becoming loud roars as more time goes by and the smoke doesn't go away. Furthermore, this is no longer merely online rumors. This is the unfolding of Hollywood history in real time. Like wildfire, the hypotheses are gaining traction. Additionally, Malcolm's supporters aren't giving up just yet. Who was to blame? Too many red signs, too many individuals disappearing, and too much silence from those who were meant to ride. For Malcolm are all present. Oh no, darling. That was just the lid coming loose if you felt that the drama reached its climax during the funeral. Because a number of intimate emails between Malcolm and a close confidant were leaked anonymously a few days after the memorial. These receipts also pierced deeply. He wrote, "I don't think I'll make it to 55 in one message. People want me to leave. Give that a moment to rest." This individual wasn't merely concerned about a poor bargain or a difficult week. This man saw the walls closing in, and now everyone is asking why and by whom he was removed. Think about that for a moment. It wasn't ambiguous, it was not poetic. That was really cool. Hollywood essentially shouted, "Hold my champagne, sweetie," just when it seemed like this narrative could go no further, because the explosion is about to happen. According to new reports, Phylicia Rashad allegedly confronted Tempest Bledsoe backstage at a covert family reunion event only hours before Malcolm-Jamal Warner was discovered dead. Don't get it wrong, though. This was not a friendly get-together for old laughs or a special cast reunion. Behind the scenes, a discreet private memorial was being planned for Malcolm's next mental health awareness initiative, a project on which almost nobody was aware that he was engaged. At this point, the entire web begins to break. According to witnesses, Phylicia was fully decked out in her trademark royal style, like a queen. Undoubtedly drew Tempest aside and said the words that silenced the entire gathering. Do you believe that secrets remain hidden forever? You will soon learn the hard way. Enormous. Hold on now. Was that a threat, a warning, or simply the revelation of the truth from a woman who had been silent for far too long? We must remember who we are discussing. This isn't a supporting character from a comedy that was canceled. Phylicia Rashad is a professor at Columbia University, an educator, Black TV royalty, an icon, and someone who knows enough business secrets to shut down half of Hollywood with a whisper. You therefore stop browsing and pay attention when she speaks. The worst part is still to come. The backstage altercation between Phylicia and Tempest, according to one crew member who is currently comfortably off-ride and enjoying margaritas in Mexico, didn't simply become hotter. It nearly blew up. He claimed that the situation became so heated that someone had to physically separate the two women to prevent a full-scale altercation. Malcolm apparently rushed in as soon as he heard the yelling and declared, "We need peace." Not like this. Never again. Don't do that again, sir. What specifically happened earlier? Due to the fact that the internet is spiraling in all directions along that path. This is where it becomes quite chilling, that blazing altercation. According to reports, it took place barely 4 hours before Malcolm's body was found, drifting in California, face down, close to a remote beach. Not 4 hours, not 4 days, nor 4 weeks. Is it a coincidence? We don't do coincidences over here, please. We create receipts. And this is where it quickly begins to unravel, sweetie. Turn the clock back a bit more. Several insiders who have chosen to remain anonymous are now coming out to assert that Malcolm had been gradually separating from Tempest for months before his passing. They claim that there was a change in energy. He was withdrawing not only on a professional level but also on a personal one. A bleak picture is painted by alleged text conversations exchanged between Reed's former producer and Malcolm and a close confidant. Not only were things strange, they were tense. Malcolm allegedly stated, "I can't keep pretending things are fine with her," in a message written just 2 weeks before everything that transpired. She seems to be hiding something in every conversation. Take a moment to process that. It was more than just artistic theater. This man was attempting to maintain his composure as the walls closed in on him, surrounded by pressure, secrets, and paranoia. I don't trust a single word she says, particularly when it comes to Bill. In the sense of Bill Cosby. Yep, that spirit is still floating around this circus. Now it's infiltrating right into the center of this chaos. Because according to some reports, Tempest was one of the only cast members who continued to communicate privately with Bill after things fell apart, while Malcolm, Phylicia, and the rest of the crew publicly separated themselves. Temperament. She kept silent. Too silent. She reportedly played both sides like a chess game of public relations, moving pieces in one direction, smiling in another. This terrifying statement was even made by an unidentified industry veteran. Sis was aware of the skeleton's location and the identity of their interment. Who? It's more than just shade. It's ice. We are currently in the midst of a hurricane. Silence, secrets, and a haunting legacy that will never be forgotten. It also becomes colder. An unsubstantiated voicemail has surfaced and is quickly making its way through deep Twitter dives and Reddit rabbit holes. It's allegedly Malcolm, captured a few hours before till he was discovered dead. And folks are shaking from what he said. Please don't allow her to speak at my funeral if I die. Allow that line to reverberate. Drama isn't that. That dude was knowledgeable. Someone standing far too close to him was untrustworthy. And the question that no one wants to ask aloud is becoming more and more prevalent every hour. Malcolm knew. What? What made him so certain that he wouldn't survive to tell it? She is not worthy of the microphone. That was his statement. No names. But the math was done by the internet, baby. And every hint points directly to that ferocious confrontation with Tempest on the day Malcolm was discovered. And recall the rumors that Phylicia passed out during Malcolm's burial. It turns out that grief wasn't the only reason. After apparently pleading with the organizers to keep Tempest out of the building entirely, sources now claim that Phylicia lost it when she saw her sitting in the front row at the service. But hold on, the temperature drops. According to a little birdie, Phylicia got up to speak as well, locked eyes and spoke the words, "You have no right to speak on his soul," loud enough for the entire church to hear. "Take a seat." Then it was completely quiet. The sound of air leaving the room was audible. Even Malcolm's own mother, according to one witness, averted her gaze. There was no scene there. It was a reckoning. And the fallout. An astonished visitor shared a mysterious Instagram caption that went viral a few hours later. "I have never witnessed such a funeral wreck." Tears fell, secrets were revealed, and the truth was slammed home. What then was the revelation that split the room in two? This is the rumor. Malcolm was covertly working on Beneath the Sitcom Smile, an unvarnished, heartfelt documentary that delves deeply into the misery and suffering that lie beneath all those well-produced laugh tracks from the 1980s and 1990s. Raw reality without any rewrites or filters. According to reports, Tempest pleaded with him to keep her out of it. Pleaded. He had already made up his mind though, Malcolm. He was no longer safeguarding pictures. At last, he was prepared to tell the truth. According to one insider, Tempest even attempted to buy her way out. She allegedly promised to contribute to Malcolm's documentary's funding, but only if her role was omitted. Malcolm did not waver. He bluntly told her, no. At that point, the situation developed into a full-fledged Hollywood thriller. 2 days following Malcolm's death, there was a strange break-in that resulted in the loss of the finished footage, hard drives being stolen, cameras going missing, and files being erased. Even if you tried, you couldn't script this, and no one would believe you if you did. However, here we are. The question now shifts to motivation. Was it merely a strange accident? A mental breakdown that went too far? Perhaps. However, what if it was more sinister? What if someone tried desperately to stop Malcolm from revealing the kind of information that would have illuminated every American screen? Let's avoid being naive. Here in Hollywood, pictures, money, and secrets are interred in high-end caskets. One incorrect flashback, one old tape, and one uncut confession, and suddenly entire legacies, careers, and reputations are lost. You're going to learn the hard way if Phylicia's warning to Tempest was indeed as shrewd as insiders claim. Then perhaps, just possibly, she knew far more than the rest of us are prepared to comprehend. Where are we today, then? Too soon, a beloved star passed away. A documentary disappeared into thin air, and a group of suspects moving as if they were stuck in a screenplay that had been cut off at the last page, and perhaps that is the most sinister turn of all. What more is concealed behind the sitcom grin if Malcolm-Jamal Warner, an actor, activist, and survivor of one of the most brutal and messy businesses in the world, couldn't come out before the truth caught up? Who could possibly outrun the darkness? Pursuing him if he couldn't? Perhaps it isn't even the appropriate question. Perhaps the better question is, who will? Because just one question remains reverberating around the room in spite of all of this. The warnings, the leaking messages, the icy silences, and the disappearing files. Was this a well-planned Hollywood hit piece that was muttered through hushed tones and hidden beneath red carpet smiles? Or was this merely unfortunate timing? Because, darling, it's not just a warning sign when secrets start to surface immediately, before someone dies. In couture, that is a full-fledged crime scene. Additionally, this chronology appears to be more chaotic than a phony public relations marriage breaking up on Instagram Live. Tell me then, why just hours before Malcolm's passing, did Phylicia Rashad, who had remained silent for decades, feel the need to speak up? And why, as everything around her was on fire, did Tempest go utterly silent in his last moments? These aren't random events. These are the last desperate parts of the puzzle that are attempting to fit together. Who has actually been writing? This script the entire time is the only question that remains, only to reappear when the storm burst. The most terrifying question of all is, who will be next? Because, honey, this isn't a scripted sitcom. This is betrayal in real life. Over secrets, smiles stretched tightly, silence piled on top of awards, like some unreleased Netflix expose that never reached post-production, decades of suppressed. Stress explode in front of a coffin. Don't accept me at face value, though. Leave your thoughts in the comments section now. Was this only a sad turn of events? Or is there someone in the Cosby circle concealing more sinister secrets than anyone could have guessed? Don't play around if you're prepared for the next layer of truth to reveal itself. Before the Hollywood cleanup crew arrives and completely destroys the video, hit the like, subscribe, and share buttons. The next expose will be messier than a group conversation that was leaked at 3 in the morning with no filters. Too many receipts and not enough rejections, so turn on those alerts. This isn't merely rumors. In a world where quiet power plays and cover-ups are the norm, this is survival mode. Thus, remain vigilant, keep awake, and most importantly, remain dangerous. I'll see you in the upcoming video.